not enough.
We take you live now to Cleveland, Ohio for...
It's not enough.
We take you live now to Cleveland, Ohio for remarks by Republican presidential candidate Mitt Romney and his wife, and their introductions are underway.
A new leader in the White House. We need, and again, I told you as the first Ohio congressman to endorse the governor, I said we need somebody in the White House who understands what it means to make a payroll, who understands what it means to balance a budget, who understands what it means to get the economy going again. Ladies and gentlemen, we need Mitt Romney. Ohio needs Mitt Romney. And the White House needs Mitt Romney. With that, I want to introduce to you the next President of the United States, Mitt Romney.
Thank you, Congressman Renacci. Thank you so much. Thank you. Hey, guys. Wow. Cheering section back there. This is fabulous. Oh, it's great to be here with you today. I wondered if we were going to make it in. Gosh, the wind and the rain. The plane was bouncing around as we were touching down. I am so sorry not to have Chris Christie here. He wanted to be here, but the state troopers, I guess, told him that the weather was just too treacherous. He had a little plane, and it was going to not be safe coming in, so they held him on the ground and said he couldn't be here. But we'll bring him back. He's going to be out campaigning with me. He's been campaigning with me so far. He is fun, by the way. I got to tell you, it is fun to have Chris Christie there. What you hope for is someone to heckle him. That's what you hope. All right. And you got to bring someone in. I think we brought 2 or 3 in tonight to be here just for him, because it's so much fun. He'll walk up to the stage like this. He walks up to the stage and looks at him, and he tells him what to. It's really something. He's a great American, a great governor. I love to have his support. And one of the reasons we're going to win is because of Chris Christie. Now, the young lady to my left, I met in elementary school. I don't recall the meeting. She would have been in 2nd grade. I would have been in 4th grade. Obviously, 4th graders don't look at 2nd graders. I mean, that's just a whole different world, 2 years. It's a lifetime. Actually, close to a lifetime at that age. And yet, when she became a sophomore, I became far more interested. And I remember going to a party at a friend's house, not having seen her in a little while, and seeing her at this friend's party at his home, in his basement. And I went to the guy who brought her there, and I said, "Look, I live closer to Ann than you do. How about I give her a ride home for you?" And he agreed, and we've been going steady ever since. My sweetheart, Ann Romney.
Thank you, Ohio. You guys have a big job on Tuesday, and we're looking forward to what you're going to do, because we want this guy to be the nominee of the party, and you can help make that happen. I'm also looking forward to next November, because this guy is going to beat Barack Obama. That's what's going to be really fun. I haven't seen Mitt for a couple of days. I've been in Georgia, and Mitt's been who knows where. Fargo, Idaho, and then Washington State, and then back here. Yeah. So, it's a big country. But Ohio is important, and Tuesday is an important day. It's going to get us one step closer to defeating Barack Obama. So we're looking forward to that. An interesting thing has happened during this process, and that is we've had the wonderful opportunity of going all across this country and meeting wonderful folks. But the other thing that's happened is we've had some very sad stories too. And people are across this nation hurting in many different ways. And it's been hard to watch that and hard to see that. We saw it a lot in Florida. We saw it a lot in Michigan. I think we're seeing it in Ohio too. People are worried and they're disheartened. And they sense that we're heading in the wrong direction, that the person that's guiding us at this country is taking us someplace we don't want to go. So it was a year ago when I said, after promising I would never do this again, I said to Mitt, I hate to tell you this, but you have to do this again. And it is with complete conviction that I am 100% convinced that he's the only one that can turn this country around. And that's why voters better figure this out in Ohio. I asked him, you know what, if you can be the nominee, that's a hard thing to do. It's a hard thing because we know we've tried it once before. But if you can get that nomination, and then it's going to be hard, by the way, to beat this president. We all know that. We'll be back in Ohio doing it, too. That's the other thing. I said, I'm not going to go through all of that if once you get there, you can't fix it. And the thing that's great, and this is why I truly believe in this, and that's why I truly was willing to do this again, is because I know he can fix it. And I've seen him do it. I've seen him do it in business. He's a turnaround guy. I saw him do it at the Olympics. He's turned that around, and I've seen him do it as a governor. So I'm very excited to see him do it as the next president of the United States.
Thank you, sweetheart. By the way, there is a, she's a remarkable woman in a lot of ways, and not just her beauty, and her sense of humor, and her ability to speak and connect with folks who listen to her. There's a wonderful piece that Neil Cavuto did just a couple of days ago on his show about Anne. Wish he'd do that about me, but anyway, but he did a piece about Anne, and she deserves it. And so if you go on YouTube, I think it's probably there, Neil Cavuto, Anne Romney, you'll see a remarkable tribute to her and her ability to touch the hearts of people across this country. She's a battler. She has the kind of character that is quintessentially the American character. She was diagnosed with MS, battled back from that, and is now, as you see, in great strength and health. She had breast cancer. She's a breast cancer survivor. She's a fighter. And despite those challenges, she said, Mitt, you've got to get in there and run for office. And I'm doing it because I love her, I love our family, I love our grandkids, and I love America. I'm going to get this country right. Now, I can see that we have a border security problem here. There's a shirt over there, sweatshirt. It says Michigan. And there's a hat over there with an M on it. I can't believe it. This is the Buckeye State. Come on, guys. You even let me in today. I apologize, but I respect the fact that this is a state with great passion, great energy, great teams. My goodness gracious, and I'm honored here to be with you. What a thrill it is to do what I'm doing. I mean, can you imagine running for president of the United States? This is not something I expected to do. When I was a boy, a young guy, I wanted to be a police officer. As I got a little older, I wanted to do what my dad did. I wanted to be in a car company. I hoped to run a car company some way. And then I got in business on my own. Never thought I'd get involved in politics, of all things. Just couldn't imagine that I get involved in politics. Here I am running across the country, meeting people, and it's such an extraordinary opportunity to get to know America. You see, if you watch the evening news, you see people who are doing things which are out of the ordinary. That's why it makes news. By and large, those aren't good things they're doing. And so you come away with a bit of a cynical view about what's going on across the country. When you get to do what I do, and you meet, average, ordinary citizens like ourselves, why then you get a sense of what really is at the heart and the core of the American people. And it's good, and it's encouraging. It gives me more optimism about the future of the country, just to meet our citizens from across the country, not those that are doing the most unusual things. I'm amazed at the entrepreneurialism of people in this country. I was campaigning and went into one enterprise, large employer, big factory, and the owner and chief executive officer, Norm, was there, and I said, clearly, you have a degree in engineering. He said, no, I don't have a degree in engineering. I said, well, where'd you get your college degree? He didn't have a college degree either. Why I thought he had those things was that on the wall were all sorts of patents, over 100 patents. This is a guy who just used his own knowledge and capacity and innovative skill to come up with ways to provide electricity into various businesses and raise floors and putting electricity underneath them. Just extraordinary. Norm Burns. And then I met a guy named Bill Dobbin. Just a little bit later, Bill Dobbin has another big factory. He was a doctor, is a doctor. I guess once a doctor, always a doctor. And he found malpractice to be a bother. He found dealing with the government to be troublesome. And so he decided to, with his dad, to start a business. And he built a business called, I think it's called Creative Casters. They make casters. You know what casters are? Those are those wheels that go on the bottom of things you push around, big heavy things. He designs them for heavy, if you're going to move an airplane, you need big casters. That's the sort of stuff he makes. Just remarkable, the innovativeness of the American people. I met a woman in California named Barbara who found an extraordinary way of taking a little carrot and taking the skin off it and winding it down, putting in little plastic bags. And by virtue of that little innovation, little carrots all peeled for us in little plastic bags, I think the consumption of carrots has gone up by about 4-fold in this country. I mean, it's just amazing what she's done. The innovativeness of the American people. That's what makes America such a strong economy. It is not a government telling us what things we should do and how to do it. It is instead free people pursuing their ideas, failing sometimes, succeeding time and again. And their success does not make us worse off. It makes us better off as a people. I love the spirit of America. I love free people pursuing their dreams. This is at the heart of America's promise. We've always known that America's promise is that if you work hard, and you get as much education as you can, and you have the right kind of values, why you can know that your home will be secure and prosperous, and you can care for yourself, and that your kids' future will be even better than your own past. That's the promise of America. That promise is in question today. A lot of people wonder whether that's still true. The president has gone around the country in his campaign promising. And those promises haven't been realized. He said he'd cut the deficit in half. He doubled it. All right? He said that if we let him borrow $787 billion, by the way, I will not repay that. You will not repay it. Our kids will have to repay that with interest. He said if we let him borrow $787 billion, he'd hold unemployment below 8%. It has not been below 8% since. He said he would cut taxes for middle-income Americans. He hasn't. If you consider the tax effect on Americans of Obamacare, he's raised taxes on middle-income Americans. He was concerned about Medicare and Social Security and their solvency. 3 years into his presidency, not one serious idea to make them solvent and to make them permanently secure. This is a president who's out of ideas. He's out of excuses. 2012, we're going to get him out of office. Now, this is a campaign of choices, all right? In the primary, there's a choice. In the general election, there's a choice. We can possibly re-elect the same guy as president. If we do, there's some things we know. One is we'll continue to have trillion-dollar deficits. This is a guy who doesn't seem to be bothered by putting out a budget with $1 trillion deficit. 4 years now. He is on track to amass in 4 years almost as much debt as